Welcome back. It's time for another Throwback Thursday. Hope that you're having a great week. Today, I'm going to use Throwback Thursday as an excuse to talk about something that I really love, and that's Columbo, the old TV show, which really was basically a movie of the week that they put on the air once a month. They rotated out several different shows to where you would get within that time slot one of the four shows that month, and they would basically put together a TV film length quality episode, which caused a lot of them to be very high quality. Of course, this is a Booktube channel, so I will say there are novels for Columbo as well as collections of shorter stories. Some of them were based on actual episodes of the show. Some of them were original material, but they can be hard to find because they were produced so long ago. You want to buy a used copy, odds are you're going to be paying a premium price, especially if you want a hardback as opposed to a paperback. Those tend to be really expensive. But Columbo's a great character. It's actually an interesting story behind the character. The creators, Richard Levinson and William Link, wrote a story, turned it into a play, I believe, and there was a moment of lazy writing at some point, which ended up accidentally birthing Columbo's catchphrase of just one more thing, or just one more question. And that is, they wrote a scene, they realized they wanted the detective character to ask another question, but they'd already written that he exited the scene. So instead of going back and rewriting the scene, they just had him come back to the door and say, oh, just one more thing, to ask his extra question, which was pretty funny. The original pilot for Columbo went on the air in 1968. There was a second one in 1971, and then the original run of the TV show was from 1971 to 1978. That was put together by NBC, part of their NBC mystery movie that rotated around for the month. Then it had a break for a decade, and ABC brought Columbo back for TV films from 1989 to 2003. So the detective character had a lot of cases over those years. You can actually buy a DVD now, DVD collection that's got all of Columbo put together. The detective's been around a long time. He stands out as a working class detective character who seems a little bit off. You know, he likes to be unassuming. He likes for people to doubt him, and that is because he's watching everybody, and he's actually quite brilliant. Something that you need to understand with the character is that he does lie to people all the time. He's got a lot of fun little tricks. If you watch all of the episodes, you really pick up of how Columbo manipulates people, lures them in. He tries to seem very friendly and very nice. He often does something like he tells the police department where he's going to be so that people get phone calls from him at their office or at their home, or he'll ask to use their phone so that he can call his wife at home. And I really believe a lot of time he's just making up these little conversations with his wife. He also tells folksy little stories about his wife or about his nephew and what they're doing, but if you keep track over the years, the facts don't add up. So he is just manipulating people, trying to build a good relationship, rapport with them in order to lure them in so that they will admit to the murder. Because what stands out and makes Columbo different, and really, in 1968 and 1971, when Columbo first came out, this was different. It was not a murder mystery in the standard sense of a whodunit, but they called it a how catch 'em, because it was framed to where you got to see at the beginning the criminals actually commit the crime. You got to see how the murder happened, which to me is a great way to present that type of character because it allows the audience to at least have some understanding of why the murder happened. Was it because someone was trying to blackmail that person, or because that person got greedy, or because that person was in a difficult relationship and wanted out of it? You know, like, you actually got to understand the psychology behind that character, which made it for a much more interesting character than just some villain that you never got to know. And oftentimes Columbo would not come into the episode until a third to halfway through through it. And then, of course, he's there in his unassuming sort of way. There are a lot of subtleties. It's a great show for studying subtle dialogue and how that happens back and forth. Once Columbo's onto the person, you'll realize the subtle little tricks he's employing. And eventually, the murderer usually figures out that Columbo's onto him or her, but the person develops this arrogant attitude of, oh, this fumbling detective would never be able to get me. He'll never have the evidence he needs to put me away. And so the subtlety ends up going both ways with the conversation, as the person basically often hints, yeah, I know that you know, but I'm going to still play this game. I could go on and on about Columbo. It's so much fun. Alright, that's it for my book talk today, which is about more than just books, but it's March Mystery Madness, so I think it fits. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.